Hi everyone, Ashlyn Giza YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about quarantine time. So recently, me and my family had COVID in our home. God was keeping his hand over me because I did not get it. There's 5 people in my home, and I was the only one out of 5 that did not get COVID, thank God. Um, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm a cancer survivor, and so that meant the world to me not to get COVID, because it wouldn't be just like a little cold to me or a headache. It would have turned into a pneumonia or something bad for me more than likely. So I'm really glad I didn't get it. Nonetheless, so here's what happened. My son, he ended up getting COVID. My daughter got COVID too. We called her school and told them that we wanted her out of school. We called my son's school and told them that we wanted him out of school. My daughter's middle school did not, her junior high school did not care about her not coming back to school right away. When they heard that she had COVID, they just wanted her to get better and um, come back, when she was feeling better. And they said all we had to do was just keep calling them to let them know that we're keeping her out of school. Now, my son's elementary school, and I'm not going to name the names of these schools either, or any teachers for that matter, but my son's school, on the other hand, was giving me and my husband a really hard time. They were saying, hey, the CDC guidelines say that um, you quarantine for 5 days, and after 5 days, the person should be able to come back, even if they're still testing positive for COVID. In my opinion, um, that is a bunch of bullshit. Here's why this is probably why we're getting COVID everywhere because um, you're allowing people to go back to work and you're allowing people to go back to school with positive COVID tests. Now, I understand what people are saying when they say that even with a positive COVID test, someone might not be contagious anymore. But that's just it. How do we know? We don't know that. We don't know that. So, in my mind, it makes sense to stay away from everybody until you get a negative COVID test. Even if that's the whole 90 days, then so be it. Because how are we going to keep people from getting sick and spreading this if we just keep sending people out with positive COVID tests? Another thing that doesn't make sense to me is what's the point of anybody taking a test then if they're okaying you going to work with a positive COVID test because you don't really know when that person got COVID. So, they could have had COVID days before, but just started showing symptoms all of a sudden. So, it it just none of it even makes sense to me. And so here's what I'm making the video about. My son's school was giving me and my husband a hard time and saying that he needs to come back, and they said that if he didn't come back after his quarantine was over, that from there on out we needed to get a doctor's note, otherwise he was going to be unexcused from school. So me and my husband had to go out of our way, call the doctor, tell him what was going on, tell him that the school is acting funny about us not wanting my son to return to school, even though he had a positive COVID test. We had to get a note from his doctor that stated that he couldn't return to school until February 14th, which was this Monday. Um, so that way his school would shut up and his school wouldn't have a problem with him being gone as long as he was. And we did test him prior to letting him go back to school on Monday. And thank God that Friday, I let me see what day that would have been. Um, thank God Friday the 11th, he had a negative COVID test because if he would have had a positive COVID test, let me just say in my own personal YouTube videos that he wouldn't have been going back to school. because I'm one of those people that I'm standing my ground, and I'm going to stand up for my son and stand up for my family against those who feel that it's okay going to school or work with a positive COVID test. And my son and my family will not be going to work and will not be going to school unless they have a negative COVID test. And people are saying that can be up to 90 days or whatever. I don't really care. That's my belief. That's me and my family's belief. That's what we're sticking to. So it all worked out because the doctor agreed with us that he would write a note since my son still wasn't feeling 100, and since he did just get a positive COVID test only, um, a couple days prior to us calling him into school. So, we gave the school the note, got a copy of the note, and we are hanging on to that just in case they have any questions or concerns. And then I got another weird thing. Okay, so this is kind of a whole different subject, but so basically what I'm gonna say to you guys is that my opinion on the quarantine time, that they how they shortened the quarantine time, in my opinion, is not good at all, and it's a bunch of crock. Because it's nobody knows about this disease or this virus, or how long you should or shouldn't quarantine. It's just a bunch of guessing essentially, and I think they had the right idea quarantining people for 2 weeks or whenever they started feeling good, because that gives it a while. That gives you a while to get a negative test result too. Um, that's just my opinion. And in my personal experience, for everyone in my family, it only took like 7 to 10 days to get a negative test, in that range. So obviously it can vary from people to people, according to what everybody's saying, but I think that's just ridiculous to send somebody to work or school after just 5 days after you getting a positive COVID test. But whatever. So, I'm gonna move on and talk to you guys about another thing that happened um, in a different video, because I'm going to make a couple tonight just because I haven't had time to make videos because life has been really crazy since we got COVID in the house, which is why I haven't been making my daily videos. But anyways, that's my opinion on the quarantine time for COVID. If you guys have other opinions, or if you guys know anything else about quarantine time and stuff like that, let me know. But otherwise, that's my opinion on it, and that's what happened. And that's whenever my husband's work needs a doctor's note, or my children's schools need doctor notes, we're going to go and get them, because we don't agree with going back right away a couple days after you get a positive COVID test. So, anyways, I will be on with another life topic.